Staff council meeting to order for the next fiscal year, yay. FY 27. If we, it's 12:07. If we could start with a motion to approve the draft minutes from the June 2nd meeting, that would be great. Good. We have a second now. Awesome. Is there any discussion around the meetings from June 2nd? No, great. If we could start with a vote, raise your hand virtually or physically for yay to the draft minutes from June 2nd.
You should vote only if you were here.
Oh.
If you're a new person, you probably should.
Okay. Great. Is there anyone that's votes against, AKA nay, the draft minutes from June 2nd? Are there any abstentions? Great. I was passed.
Akash, you have your hand up. Did you have a question?
Probably abstaining.
Can take care of that, I think. Okay. Excellent.
Great. The draft minutes from June 2nd are so approved. I think we can move on to our next section, which is the public comment period. So this is an opportunity for non-staff members to raise or address issues not otherwise on the included agenda. If there's any non-staff council members here with concerns, ideas, or comments? No, great. With that, we're gonna move on to new representative introductions, which I should have a list of and have memorized probably, but I
No,
don't.
I didn't give you a list.
Oh, good. Well,
I figured.
that I could still have it. Could we please have the new staff members maybe self-volunteer an introduction?
Start.
So with you.
I'm Angus Robertson. I work at the Howe Library. I worked for the libraries close to 30 years, 3 different staff positions. It's my first time working with council. Not sure what else.
What committee are you gonna be joining if you?
I believe community management, so that's not right. Yeah.
Oh, great. It's the next of
Laura, you're technically new.
Sure.
Oh.
Yes, I am your representative. My name is Laura Sabine. I am in the College of Nursing and Health Sciences. I work as an office coordinator for the Department of Biomedical Sciences. I'm newer to UVM, so I'm like just, I'll be a year in late September, so I get to like experience for the first time, like
everything
back
again.
to Candace and everybody coming back to life, maybe getting a little bit more sad. Depends on who you are. And I am on community engagement as well.
Oh,
I'm Jim Cord. I work at the Larner College of Medicine, the Clinical Simulation Lab in the Rowell Building, and I've been there since the beginning of the Simulation Center. We primarily work with medical students, nursing students. We work with the staff of the hospital, doctors, residents, and nurses. And I work with high fidelity mannequins and in standardized patient scenarios. And essentially, it provides all of our learners an opportunity to enhance and perfect and practice their skills, not only in clinical situations, but also in interpersonal relationships between staff as well as with the patients.
you know what, committee you're joining for?
And I'm working with you.
You can't put me on the spot.
I don't.
A social committee or something different?
Well, it's going to be engagement this year.
You switched it up.
Wasn't eligible. I wanted you one.
Oh, okay.
Only couple.
Professional development.
Hi, my name is Matthew Worthen. My pronouns are she, her, and I've been working for UVM for 2 years now, over in the College of Arts and Sciences in the Dean's office for the Human Resources Faculty Actions team. So, I served as a member at large starting, I think, in like April, and then 2 seats opened up for, College of Arts and Sciences, so I decided to serve as a representative. I'm happy to be here.
Do you know what committee you're?
Oh, yes, sorry. Personal and professional development, I'm staying on the same line, so.
You don't need it. Okay, I'm Deb Tersey. I'm the office manager, whatever we call it, administrative assistant for Extensions South Burlington office, our field office. I have been at the university for going on 6 years. I was on campus before I moved over to Extension. And I'm on the social committee.
Hi, I'm Kayla Johnson. I work for the Division of Safety and Compliance under Environmental Health and Safety, doing laboratory safety coordination, making sure that laboratories stay compliant. I've been at the university for about 1.5 years now, and I am part of PBD.
Jim, you are on PPD as well, by the way.
And as I'm last, hi everyone, my name is Hannah Blankenship. I am part of the Division of Enrollment Management on the Management Marketing team. I've been at UVM for about 6 months now, and I think I'm also on PPD.
I think we have
Okay.
folks online too. Yeah, thanks.
I can go. My name is Akash Karki. I'm the Director of Ticket Operations. First of all, sorry I couldn't be there in person today. We have a small issue with some new chairbags coming to our facility, and the delivery hasn't happened, and I have to be here in site at some point. So if a call comes and I have to hop out, I will let you know here. I've been here for 2 years. This is my 3rd season running. This is my first time at the staff council, and filling in the shoes that Catherine McGinn Hall left. So hopefully I can do that.
You say what committee you were on?
I'm on social committee. Sorry.
Nice,
didn't
no, no,
answer.
worries. It's the trick question of my list.
That's how I'm going to start.
Nice.
I'm on the social committee. My name is Martha Hinchman. I work in student financial services, working with students and families for about 10 years now, doing financial aid awards, being the go-between for FAFSA information, which is seriously a lot of fun right now. But that's it.
Okay, great. Is there anyone else online that's a new?
No, I think that's actually all. Are here.
Cool. Well, welcome everyone. I'm so glad to have new people, lots of new faces. With that, I'll pass the next item to Alan to go over representative duties and responsibilities.
Yes, so the newer reps, this will be a repeat for all of you since we just covered this not that long ago, so a little bit of a refresher. But for the folks that have been on staff council for a little while, sometimes the responsibilities of being a representative fade away as time goes on and you get more familiar, comfortable with what you're doing. So it's a good time to review a little bit of that. So I'm going to just share my screen real quick here so I can remember how to do that. Yeah. I can't explain. Well, what I'm going to do then is just read it. I'll see. The document that I'm looking at is the staff council representative duties and responsibilities. It was part of the email and packet of materials that were sent out in any case. So you would have received this via the email. The first section goes over eligibility, which you're all eligible. That's why you're here. The primary part that I'd like to talk about is kind of in the middle section and representative responsibilities. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullets here. Attend a monthly staff council meeting of all representatives held the first Tuesday of every month. Today. Participate in at least one of the 4 standing committees: compensation, benefits, and budget, personal professional development, community engagement, or social committee. You can, if you so choose, and then have the time and willpower to serve on more than one committee, you can do that. It's perfectly okay. We have had people in the past do that, maybe 1 or 2 at a time. It is rare, but no pressure at all to do that. I just want to make sure you knew that you could do that. Time commitment is generally the full staff council meeting, so the hour and a half that this meeting is scheduled for, and then the time frame that your regular committee meeting is scheduled for, which is typically an hour. For those that are on CBB, that's scheduled for an hour and a half. So the most minimum time commitment would be 3 hours if you're on CBB. There may be times when there's committee work to be done outside of the scheduled committee, so to speak, and you may choose to be part of an ad hoc committee, like for the crafting, monthly crafting hour. There's a little committee that works on that. There's cat chat group that works on that off to the side. There's no requirement or expectation that you be part of any of those ad hoc committees because it is an additional time commitment. That time commitment can vary depending on the work that group happens to be doing. And they typically schedule their own times to handle that. There aren't any necessarily official minutes taken or official agendas or anything like that. So that's the general time commitment. There may be some other volunteer things that I might ask for out of the office. For example, we talked a little bit about sorting the fare tickets. So I sent an email out to the social committee since they hold the fare tickets, asking for volunteers to come help me sort them. I got a couple of people to help me with that. The biggest volunteer thing that will be asked for of all staff council members, both representatives and members at large, is the holiday bazaar to help run and fill the gaps that we need there. Also, volunteers will be looked for the benefits fair because we staff a table at the benefits fair that's coming up. So you'll see more information about that. No requirements again for any of that additional work, but know that those emails and those requests will be going out. I don't think any lesser of you if you don't. It's perfectly okay. You guys have enough to do as it is. Let's see. Represent the unit under which one is employed and through which one is elected / appointed. So you do represent a group of constituents as representatives. You're not representing yourself to staff council. So you're getting information from your constituents, bringing it back to your committee or the full staff council, or possibly the executive board if you end up serving on that, to bring those and raise those issues at the meetings to determine if anything should or can be done by staff council with those issues. You voice the concerns of one's constituency of staff employees to staff council, as I mentioned. And then the last bullet here is communicate staff council news, discussions, and action back to one's constituency of staff employees. Here's where I'm going to hand it off to Samantha, because you wanted to talk about that. Because that's all I was going to cover.
Yeah, no, that's great. One thing that has come up in the past that Jennifer and I have talked about, and I think other staff council members have maybe asked for more information on, or is something that we want to work on in the future here, is that we would like to provide more information this year to what things maybe would be good for you to share with your department or good ways to get information from people. A lot of times I bring stuff up in leadership meetings because I heard it in the hallway or I heard a problem that a staff member was having, and that's easier for me to do because I'm already there. But I think as representatives, we are looking for ideas for maybe blurbs that you guys could share in forums in your department, or like selecting pieces of inside UVM that you know that your department would be interested in and you would want them to go to. And by inside UVM, I mean staff line, or inside UVM, but more importantly staff So that's just something I wanted to put on the table of people to think about. I don't think we need to make it now. But we would like to put more ideas out there for people to share with their departments and maybe get more information back. I think we've gotten a lot of good input from people in the last few months of specific one-off incidents that were helpful to bring to, especially HR or Alicia, the CFO. Alicia specifically, I remember in our recent meeting said that she's really interested in getting a pulse of what people are feeling and how they're reacting to communications and what they want to see more of and what we like or would like differently about staff events or information. So I don't think we need a decision now, but if anyone has input throughout the year about stuff you'd like to see or questions you have, we want to put some more out there for people to communicate with their department. What do you guys do? Can I ask if like any members now, what do you do to get information from people? Or do you feel like it's, personally for me, I feel like I don't interact with my department. I guess I'm an at-large member anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I specifically talk to people and bring those individual concerns up, but there's not really like a funnel of information to a staff council representative in my department, which I would like to promote more. So if anyone has things that work for them.
Dean Page at the College of Medicine asked us as representatives to meet with him quarterly. And before then, I asked my group if they have any questions or things to bring up with Dean Page. I encourage all of you to contact your dean and see if they'd be willing to meet with you, maybe not quarterly, but at least once so they can hear from you, and also the dean can pass on information to you.
Heather, you've got your hand up, go ahead.
Oh, hi. So at Grossman School of Business, there are monthly faculty meetings, and there have been for quite some time. There will start to be monthly staff meetings that start later this month. Over the summer, there have been weekly Wednesday lunches. And so if there's anything to bring up, I've brought it up there. I do find bringing it up in person when you have a chance, I actually get some acknowledgement, and not necessarily feedback, but acknowledgement. Otherwise, we do have listservs within GSB. So we have like a GSB faculty and a GSB staff, and then one that's like all employees. And when there've been things like surveys, I've sent stuff out that way. And if it's a really like high important one, I do sometimes put a read receipt on it just to kind of recognize that people see it. Some people like that, some don't. I think it's kind of checking in with your HR person. And it's something I've been developing over the last few months, but is not active yet. Is an intranet. So using SharePoint, there's a couple departments, also the Division of Student Affairs has like a, if you want to call an intranet, but it's something that lives within SharePoint, and it's like a page. And when you go to it, there's information, and ours is segmented by staff, for faculty, all employees, and under the staff section right now, we have links directly to Staff Council. So if people want to access information, they can. It is not launched yet, but our hope is that it will launch this fall for all staff. And if anybody is interested in adopting something like that, it has been months in the works with our office manager. So I'm happy to share anything I've learned from that.
Oh, interesting. I try to mention it. We do like an onboarding 30-day check-in with upper leadership, and we try to mention Staff Council as a good way. Even just to promote meeting different people on campus, because I think that's how a lot of new people join Staff Council and then get sucked into the flow. But it's a good way to, if you're new to campus and there, maybe you don't see people in the office, get different faces and perspectives of the university. So I try to sell it like that in people's first few months, and that's what I loved about it when I first got here. So I think that's a good one. Anyone else? Anything? Yeah, go ahead.
I usually just send out a Teams message to our department or an email to our department if at times Staff Council is looking for specific feedback and ask that they either, reply to the email or message, or let me know in person so I can bring it back.
Cool. That's right. Okay, cool. That's awesome. I think that's all I wanted to go over for that.
I did want to add one thing.
Yeah.
To keep in mind, the holidays are date, usually the first Wednesday, right, Alan, of December. So keep that, mark that date, save that date. Because yes, we do need all hands on deck.
Should just put that like cyclically in my calendar.
Yes.
For the rest of my life.
Is there a date for the benefits fair?
There is, off the top of my head, I don't know what it, I haven't got anything from HR on that just yet.
Has to be before open enrollment, right?
It's in October, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Is there any date for staff appreciation week? Because last year, like, we thought October. Wasn't sure if it was gonna stay there.
Why don't I get to that in my officer update? Because I think we talked about that in a couple different ones, so
Yes.
that's okay. Okay, cool. Our next agenda item is parliamentarian appointment. Easy enough for me. We had one applicant and I'm very excited to, however, I formally approve or announce that person, which is Amanda DeMoy. Great. Do I have to like make a motion or anything for that?
No,
Can I just,
it's not a vote.
good, you're officially appointed to the
They're sworn.
parliamentarian. Which the job of that role, for anyone that doesn't know, is to ensure we're following Robert rules of order.
Generally speaking, yeah. And also a member of the executive.
Welcome.
And it's an election year. You'll be chairing the election.
That's the nominee, that's correct, yes.
that exciting, yeah?
Yeah, that is fun. Great. We also, our next agenda item, have a call for 2 members at large to join the executive board. So that's an opportunity to get on the executive board if you're an at-large member and not an official member of a,
Nope, backwards. Nope.
the other way. What is it?
You're serving as a member at large to the executive board, but you're a representative.
Okay, so it's only for rep person.
Correct.
Okay,
And voted on by this body.
okay.
So we currently have 4 folks that have expressed interest, which is fantastic. It's like pulling teeth. Don't, and then I'll read off the names. If you want to take your name off the list, that's fine. No big deal. So Hannah has put her name in the hat, which is great. Monica. Richard Cohen, who's not here today, but he served as a parliamentarian last year. He serves on the Compensation Benefits and Budget Committee. And also serves on UBEC, the University Benefits Advisory Council, which is not a staff council. Committee at also university thing. And Laura Celine has also put her name into the hat. Given, does anybody want to remove their name, or is anybody else interested in that position? What that means to serve on the executive board as a member at large?
You want to?
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm sure there will be other
You
opportunities.
can be co-chair of that. All right, so what we'll do then is, since there are more people than seats, is I'll typically do an electronic ballot for this rather than an in-meeting vote. So expect that to go up shortly after this meeting. I already made it. And I'll give till like next Monday, because I know there's a couple of people that are out, so I want to make sure people have an opportunity to vote on that. You'll vote for no more than 2 people of the 3. Again, that's Hannah, Monica, and Richard will be on the ballot for that. Any questions? You're flying on.
Crazy. Obviously, I should be talking more. That's the problem. Everyone knows that's not. Okay, our next is the Staff Council Professional Development Fund Committee. It's going to be an update from him.
All right, so Staff Council, as everybody knows at this point, or maybe this will be a reminder, has a professional development fund for non-represented staff. And we receive applications from non-represented fund employees on a quarterly basis. Q1 for FY27 just ended. So we actually have over a dozen applications, which is unusual for the first quarter. At any rate, we need to have a committee that reviews those applications on a quarterly basis. That committee is comprised of, the chair is Samantha, in this case, the vice president chairs that committee, and then 6 other folks from within staff council can serve on that committee. Doesn't matter what your bargaining unit status is or not, anybody can serve on this committee. The time commitment for that committee is roughly, the meeting is usually about an hour, sometimes less. We don't have a whole lot of applications. And then maybe an hour dedicated to reviewing all the applications and scoring them, because we have a rubric to make sure everybody's being treated equitably. That committee should be meeting at close to the end of August so that we can announce the Q1 awardees by the end of August. Any questions about, that does not replace your standing committee either. It doesn't replace social committee, doesn't replace CBD. It is an additional commitment. And we need 6 total people, so we need 5 more folks.
Can it be more than 6 people?
Yes, it can be definitely more than 6.
Or I'll volunteer.
I'll do it.
I'll volunteer.
Woohoo.
It's fun. I think, were there previous professional development people that were interested in continuing? I forgot, do they need to say here or?
They should say here because it reconstitutes every year. It's not a filling empty spots. It's the committee is done for the year and then it starts over from scratch.
This is Heather saying here for continuing on the committee.
Okay, thanks, Heather.
Same here, Cindy Lee.
Cindy? Long timer.
Sitting here.
Adam? That's our 6. We can certainly take more. Great, thank you.
Great. Last call.
What makes it fun?
I think it's really interesting to see what professional development people are doing and to be able to like allow people to go to stuff that they would usually go to. And I like remembering, I don't know, I like any positive reminder of things that are good in the world and at UVM. So it's nice to be like, oh yay, go to that really cool conference or do that certificate. And people usually put a lot of effort into their application, and there's sometimes like people apply and they're like gonna pay for it out of their own pocket. And like, you get to be like, wait, no, there's professional development funds for that. You can do it. It's not fun. It's just nice to be an advocate for staff development. Everyone that's on the committee is nice.
And I think a lot of budgets this year, just because of reductions, a lot of departments are getting professional development funds, so that might explain the surge in application savings.
Yeah.
So just a little bit more about what to expect then for the next couple weeks. You will receive meeting invites. These meetings are on Teams. We don't meet in person at all. And you will receive all of the applications a minimum of 1 week prior to the actual meeting, hopefully giving you enough time to review them. There is a rubric that'll be included that shows you basically how to score things and come up with a final score. And then in the meeting, you're just basically talking about your score. What did you score this? What did you score this? And in the past, we've had enough money because of COVID. The funds kept rolling over that were unused, So the fund got fairly large. So the committee tended to approve almost everybody because we had the money to do that. Well, those COVID money rollovers are now gone and we're back down to our $12,000 a year to spend. So some specific situations and determinations will have to be made and some applications will have to be denied. Having said that, I think it does say it in the office meeting report that Alicia Esty has committed to increasing that fund from $12,000 to some higher amount per year yet to be determined. So we will be able to award either larger awards, because right now it's $500 maximum, or more awards. That'll be up to the committee if they want to change any of those qualifications or eligibilities.
Do you have quarterly dollar caps to ensure that there are funds throughout the year?
That's a good question. We used to when the fund first started. It was $500 per application and $2,500 maximum per quarter when it was at $10,000. That's when Fund for Starters at 10,000. Then it increased to 12,000 the next year, so whatever the math worked out to be after that. Because of the COVID rollover, we didn't have to worry about that at all. Other questions? Great, thanks for everybody that volunteered, and anybody can jump on at any time, even in the middle of the year, so don't feel like you had to help your feet to the fire today to decide. That sounds like it's kind of fun. Just let me know.
Next agenda item is officers update. There are a lot of them for this meeting because we continued on in June and July. So I'll just skim through some items that were key to me for that, but this is sent out to everyone every meeting if you want to review in more detail or come with questions in the future. We met with strategic communication leadership twice. We brought a few items to their attention, one being questions about how we manage the communication aspect of people leaving UVM that had like big impact on campus, either running events or a known contact person for things, and what tools are being used or in the works to resolve that. There was one specific person that kind of was the origin of that discussion, but I think it's important for anyone that leaves UVM without enough like forward warning to external campus partners. We brought that up with Stratcom and HR. I think both of them had little pieces of response, being that Stratcom can help lead the phrasing of the email communication, and that HR is working on like an offboarding checklist that should be available and helpful for things like that. But I don't think Stratcom leadership has like a package of you should do this exact thing. What else for Stratcom? We talked about Lauren Griswold coming to a future staff council meeting like this to talk about what things they're working on internally and externally. And we said that it would be great if we could provide them questions in advance of that, like we've done in the past with executive people who came here. As an FYI, in terms of their partnership, they asked whatever support we could do to support the SHIELD logo, with an emphasis on the fact that that's UVM's logo universally and making sure that that's on everything in a positive manner. We did ask what we could help with and they said that, so that's fair. They didn't just bring that up. And we did bring up in the second meeting that we had heard something about a brand development work in progress. They are doing a brand platform development work. I think they're currently looking for a vendor to assist with developing our online brand or how we're communicating the brand externally. I know that that's not a good description of it. I don't have a lot more detail, but I think that's something that they would come and talk about at the September staff council meeting. We brought it up because we heard like a phrase of it and we were trying to combat the, oh gosh, this isn't a SHIELD thing. And they're like, no, we're just looking at a third-party vendor to assist with a couple of things. So, and it's not a big ticket purchase. They hired a campus photographer. They're doing a lot of work with Inside UVM for its usual refresh and adding a bunch of other cool things that they're excited about there to try to ensure that Inside UVM is kind of giving people what they're looking for in terms of information. I do think they're looking to emphasize Inside UVM being an important place for people to get updates on campus. When we've talked about, hey, if there's information that I need to get, what's the best way to make sure I hear like important UVM updates? And they're like, anything that's important is inside UVM. So that is one thing to emphasize there. There is a mix of, you know, community updates, HR stuff, budget stuff. I think for me as a user of that, I sometimes glance at the first couple and I'm like, I don't have time to read about that thing, even though it seems cool. And I think if you thoroughly go down and read it, it does have a lot more operational things in there too that I think sometimes we forget. So I think they're moving towards that being a central information path for staff and faculty too, which is not how I always thought about it. I kind of thought of it as a fun read. Or interesting at least. Any questions about Stratcom?
Oh, just that if you're gonna submit content for it, that like they're really good about if you tell them like, hey, I'd really like it prioritized, you know, for this date or time to push because of something. Like if we ever just submit something and you kind of put in there the date range and you hope, just realize like you are doing that at the discretion of them to decide if it fits with what they're doing based on the other stories they have going on. Anytime you know something far enough in advance, like if you have an announcement to share and being that UVM Inside is weekly, if you're willing to be like, hey, here it is now, I'm okay with it posting anytime in the next 3 weeks, but after 3 weeks, it's no longer effective. They will at their discretion then potentially share it that last week. So if you really feel like, hey, it'd be really helpful to our committee, to our this, for you to post this week, like making sure that that's mentioned in the comments. They do read that, but if you post something and you don't give that context, it's at their will. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. For human resources, we are meeting with Molly, the new CHRO, and Lindsay Mello as Molly kind of gets a state of the university and the department. A couple things we talked about there. We shared the communication matrix that was made by staff council about what information we're looking for executives to bring to us and for us to communicate with them, which Molly really liked. We elevated some asks for increased recognition for non-administrative staff, such as custodial or facilities. And it's kind of something we've continued to bring up that not because people are responding negatively to it, but we want to keep reminding folks that there are some awards that are easier for people in office roles or executive level positions to get. And it would be great to promote different ways to appreciate different like types of people at the university. One thing they brought up is they're developing a random Cats of Kindness initiative for like peer-to-peer recognition that will be shared in a variety of ways. The person working on it is out for a little bit, but that will be jump-started when they return. We have brought up, I'll bring up the Staff Appreciation Week. With the many changes in leadership and the new CHRO, there was an interest in re-envisioning the way that Staff Appreciation Week was done. And they are looking, instead of it being 1 week, that's it for the year, they want to space out the events over the year and have them be a little more distributed. So they're trying to thoughtfully look at everything that was done and figure out if there are different times of the year to do that. One of the first things they're doing is the ice cream social. Yeah, so they're doing the ice cream social at the end of September. There's going to be the State of UVM address by Dr. Trump. Neither of those are a replacement or instead of any appreciation events. There's going to be a lot of different events. I don't think they have official other appreciation events planned yet, but
There is the plan to do, if you want to call it, the more traditional barbecue towards the end of the academic year, so sometime in April or May is when that's going to be planned. I missed meeting Jennifer and I sit on the committee. So yeah, it's going to be different events spread out. So those are the two, different social, and then there's the one at the end of the year, and then other events during the course of the year as well. You know, the week-long thing was great. The barbecue was great, but because of any number of different shifts and work responsibilities and issues, not everybody could attend stuff. So by spreading it out over the course of the year rather than concentrating over 1 week, it's going to give more people the opportunity to attend or participate in at least one of the things. Not everybody's going to be able to go to everything. It's not the expectation, but to be able to at least go to one or a lot more of those events that happen over the course of the year. That's kind of the idea. It's first year of trying something different. There has been a little bit of talk. Don't hold me to this. There has been a little bit of talk about bringing back the recognition luncheons and the recognition dinners for times of service. That hasn't gone very far, but that has been part of the conversation as well. Because that went away during COVID for newer people, for folks that were, at the time frame, I think 15 years got a luncheon, and then 25 and beyond got a dinner out. The luncheon was on campus, but the dinner was out someplace else. And then COVID happened, so that went away, and they replaced it with other things like gift cards, prizes and stuff like that. So that's part of the conversation.
I did in that meeting bring up that what I personally liked about the appreciation week was the breadth of different types of activities that there were. There were big university initiative ones, and there were fun little staff council events that we were able to add on to that, like tie dyeing or walks or things. And it was a nice way to layer different events.
I just got her hand up.
Oh, good. Okay.
Go ahead.
Hi, just want to share that I put this in the chat. There's no information right now because there's nothing new, but SGA, the Student Government Association, does a week of kindness. There have been some years where there's one in the fall, one in the spring. Sometimes it's around Valentine's Day. Sometimes it's around National Staff Appreciation Week. But having worked with them before, they usually do a theme per day. And one of the themes of the 5 days is typically appreciation of staff and or faculty. I'm not sure if they've already announced who the incoming SGA president will be this incoming year, but I'd highly recommend if there's someone from staff council that could reach out and just introduce themselves and say, hey, as you think about planning for this, whether it's the fall or spring, and you want to do something, just, you know, being like, hey, we're available if you like want to talk to us about what your idea might be. Because I know there were times where like the students had a certain idea about collaborating on something, and they're like, oh, we might do it in the middle of the day. And I get it, that might work for students, but for staff and faculty, it's like, oh, if it was actually in the morning or the afternoon, you might get more participation, or the opposite. You know, staff faculty tend to take off the middle of the day. So just a suggestion, and just sharing that that does typically happen. It has been in the spring over the last 2 years, but I've definitely seen one in the fall. Like one was around Thanksgiving, one was around Valentine's Day. But yeah, whoever the incoming president is of SGA student wise would be leading that this upcoming year.
Yeah, last year we extended like a greeting invite to the SGA and faculty. Thank you, Faculty Senate. And we actually talked to the SGA person last year about that specific event and partnered with them and did some like assistance. Jennifer actually tabled with them at the staff appreciation event and promoted some, again, the promoted faculty, or not faculty, facilities and custodial appreciation as well too. And we did some letters. So we're definitely going to do that one again this year, I would say. But a good reminder to check who the new president. I think the same president was going to apply.
Yeah, they just confirmed that Kennedy.
Oh, good. Yeah. So yeah, we worked with Kennedy on that last year. So yeah. Okay. Talk about the offboarding checklist, which in the meeting, I think that there's an offboarding checklist from a technical standpoint, and I had questions about what the offboarding checklist for supervisors was for people if that was in the works. So that's something I'll probably ask about again in a future meeting. We talked about the importance of retiree contact information and making sure that there's a communication path for them if there are changes. We did ask about, in a previous meeting in January, we had thought someone had mentioned that there was an RFP for health insurance maybe changing, and they confirmed that we are not doing anything different for health insurance. So yeah, they are doing an RFP right now for additional voluntary benefits, which is coming to a close soon. I think there was talk about maybe pet insurance, and other potentially voluntary benefits. Really not a cost to the university, just an attempt to get a bulk discount for staff if they were doing any of those. There's also just talk and no commitment to looking at the retirement plan contributions. It seemed like only in a positive way for potentially adding retirement contributions to people earlier or changing it for new people. Maybe it started lower and went higher. Nothing set in stone there, but it is being discussed. Option for HR. Chief of Staff meeting with Jonathan. We talked about the picnic. We re-mentioned the staff appreciation. Yeah.
About the benefits. I'd be curious to know if somebody goes from full-time to part-time status, if there would be bandwidth to look at the ability to continue retirement contributions as a part-time employee if you've been a full-time employee.
Because currently we can't do that. Part-time employee don't get contribution.
Curious to know.
Oh, okay, we can write that down. I have no idea. Okay. Yeah. Any other HR questions or things we should ask about for next time? Amanda joined us for the CFO meeting recently about the survey that PPDOE did. That was a very short meeting because it was budget submission time, and so Alicia was a little late to our meeting, very understandably. But we gave her the survey and she asked a bunch of questions and she did very thoroughly read it and was very interested by some of the, not surprised, but interested, yeah. I think some being what a number of them were related to facilities and air conditioning and office space.
And what constitutes full-time or enough full-time employment for benefits these days? Is it the 0.75? Like if somebody's in love, that's another question.
Yeah. What is full-time?
I don't think we'll go 1.0 that we kind of still qualifies for it, so I think, but if somebody's like 0.75, yeah, are they still eligible for benefits? I've had that question asked of me before, and I said, I think it's 0.75, but I'm not positive.
It is 0.7. It is 0.75, but not if you're less than 12 months. If you're less than 12 months, it has to be 1.0.
Makes sense. So 11 months, 1.0 or 0.75, but 12 months.
12 months, 0.75. Anything else below 12 months, 1.0.
Or anything below 0.75, they don't get benefits. Like 0.5 is no benefits.
Yeah, and your benefits are a little different if you're less than 1.0. So like your benefit contribution's a little bit different. Like some of the stuff changes. So
I think that's like a legal thing too, not like a university decision, because that feels like it was the same with my job too, like at certain levels you're expected to do certain things.
What's interesting about, you know, whether there's bandwidth to wiggle that as we face like a high retirement population is sometimes it can allow you to retain people on a part-time basis, especially if they're able to continue their benefits. So it can be a mutually beneficial strategy.
there are some issues with when you are retaining people if they're like as hired as temp employees. You have to stay under 1,040 hours a year for temp employees. Because of the federal requirements for benefits. If they go over the halftime, then they trigger some federal benefit issues.
I think that was the communication that went out about like retirement incentive related things recently. I think the goal was maybe for departments to be able to be flexible with things like that if there was like contributions or stuff. Well, there's not anything official, but different creative ways to help people retire if they've been hesitant to. Did you have?
I supervised someone who was 9 months
Mhm.
and the position originally had to wait 12 months for benefits, and that is no longer the case. So it's just trying to clarify 0.75 minute in the face of 13 months a year.
Mhm.
I may just have to look it up.
Do you have a HR partner?
Yep.
They probably, I would just email HR info or them and ask.
I thought they had done away with the That was a question.
Yeah, we can't wait. Yeah. Okay. I think that's all that I have to say from that.
Can I ask one extra question for HR?
Yeah.
So one of the things we've run into, and I think this happens in other areas as well, is that the classification system, the new classification system, sometimes still has issues with people having different types of job, but they're in the same classification. And we have issues with, and of course I'll bring this up with HR myself as well, but like we have issues with market pay for some positions is higher than others, even though they're less complex, but because they're all bulked into these same classifications, we're being held to the same pay as people. Like, so it's just complicated because there's just like people with different levels of market pay. Like, for example, accountants will always make more than HR, which is sad, but it's true. So we're just wondering if there's any flexibility on either creating new classifications or finding other ways to segment out classifications when you have multiple different types of jobs that are stuck in the same classification.
Are they in the same unit? Because I haven't done this in our department. We have different like classification type. Like you could do a different, like if you have you have your PCs 1 through 5 and your M1 through 5 or whatever, you could have a information tech professional PC1 and you could have a programmer PC1, and those would be in different classification types.
I understand, but we're stuck with them being in the same classification because the classification literally lists both types of jobs. And yes, they are in the same department. So one example is we have athletic trainers and we have dietitians, and the classification itself describes both athletic trainers and dietitians, but dietitians make more on the market for what they're doing than the athletic trainers do in Vermont. And so we're stuck in this situation where we can't pay dietitians at the level we really need to pay to get them because they're stuck in the same classification as another type of position. So, and this is something that like, at least on the lower levels, they've just been like, well, they're the same classification, so this is how it is. But our question is like, you know, these classifications come from an outside system, but like, is there a way to create a new classification system that is for dietitians? Like, is there a way to create other avenues because they're all PC2s?
Were you involved in like the classification process when it was created for non-union?
For non-union? I'm talking about union positions.
This is probably a specific to that. I probably shouldn't really get bogged down on that. I have questions, but it's a good topic to generally big up because I think we all are curious about the classification system and that has come up. And I think it was something that we brought up as a topic anyway. I could ask you a million questions specifically about your department, but I probably shouldn't get bogged down on that.
I'm the HR
But
person,
happy to talk about it separately.
I already know what we can do from a department standpoint. I'm the HR person. So my question is specifically for HR of like, are they open to creating new classifications besides the ones we already have? Is really the question.
Did you see the recent HR update on the HR partners team?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I think that.
So the one I forwarded onto TBB?
Yeah. Yeah, because I think what they are currently doing, and maybe you're just emphasizing.
Those are about pay bands. It's not the same. So my question is specifically if they're willing to make new classifications.
Okay. Yeah, got it. We can bring that up. Anything else? Yeah.
I'm just wondering, were they still working on early retirement incentives, or is that?
Yeah, so our department has asked about that, and it also came up in our HR discussion. There will, as of right now, and I feel confident that that won't change, but there's always potential that I'll say this and then it'll change. But from what we've heard, there is not going to be a university-wide retirement incentive, anything. They have an appetite to look into flexible and creative options for specific instances. So I think that there was a communication that went out to each person that is eligible for retirement. I don't think soon to be eligible for retirement, just that they're eligible now, right? And promoting a conversation with that person and their direct supervisor and or HR partner if that person is like, I want to retire, but here are some things holding me up, that potentially the department with department funding and motive and help with the like aid of HR potentially could do a package to assist someone retiring. But there won't be a like, here's an example, or here's something that we'll have, or anything like that. It would be funded by the department, I assume. That's that's not an actual fact, but the official line is there is not going to be a university-wide retirement incentive.
Sounds like they were looking into it before, but based upon what was offered in the past, none of people took advantage of it, so they were looking into something else, but now it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the police mentioned like on the table. Right.
Right. Not right now. Okay, great. Our next item is staff council retreat, which I assume is us talking about how the staff council retreat went? No, planning a staff.
Planning, starting to get the wheels turning for that one coming up.
Okay, not the luncheon, the staff council retreat.
The
Those are
retreat,
different,
yes.
I remember it. Yes, do we need ideas or suggestions for that?
Yes.
Great. What?
Is it in October or November?
I think we picked,
We
right?
don't have a date set just yet. I don't think it was in October last year. It's varied any time between September and November. Ones that I've been involved in.
Well, now there's no staff appreciation week to work around, right?
But, so, it also depends on space availability, obviously, too. But I think the primary thing would be what kind of retreat do you want? Again, for new folks, staff council typically holds a retreat in the fall of the year where everybody gets together in a room and does stuff. For lack of a better term, a lot of different things. There's food served, there's different activities that happen. We've had speakers come to do different activities, whether that be team building or just talking about different initiatives on campus. Patty Prelock, the former provost, came to one, who came last year. Tessa Lucy came last year from safety and compliance and spoke. It can really be anything. It's a retreat for you all to get to know each other better rather than just in a screen or in a monthly meeting or whatever it happens to be. So it really can be just about anything that you all want it to be. Usually scheduled for about 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on what the content is.
Where are these usually taking place?
Here.
Here. Okay.
I was gonna say we could-
Or we've also done it in the alumni house, so it'll be on
Okay.
campus. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not off campus. It's probably a better answer.
Did you hear my suggestions?
I always love that suggestion, and then I remember all of the reasons why we can't do it.
I was gonna suggest Philo, we do not campus.
Oh,
Philo would be great.
Yeah.
The last year's setup was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaker and then having some options.
Yeah.
Making a picture.
I liked that. I would love to do that again if we had ideas. Although Mount Philo and just hanging is good. It's both nice to not have pre-chosen little silly activities to do, but then also you're kind of standing around.
I was about to say, my previous employer, we did a staff retreat and we did like some things in the morning to kind of like gear up for some conversation later in the day. But then there was free time for like 2 hours that you just kind of like, you read a book or you knit or just sit around and chat, whatever. So enjoy the sunshine while it still exists, kind of thing. So
You're thinking of all the stuff you have to get.
yeah.
Yeah, is there anything people would specifically, that obviously, anything specifically people would want to see or do? Did you like pieces of the last one or previous ones? I would love to do a food drive again for Rally Cats. I don't know that we necessarily needed to like assemble it. I think we could all just bring it down. But that was a good, at minimum, yay, let's bring food for Rally Cats.
What was activities that people did like last year, but I was not there.
Well, the food collection for Rally Cat cupboard, and then we were given like somebody from Rally Cat to talk to us. The other one was the gardens. Maybe.
Which is for the greenhouse.
And then staying, you know, in the room and doing mindfulness or mandalas or whatever.
Figure so, Steve, what?
Those were
Those are the three things you could choose from, and then Tessa Lucy talked at the beginning.
Yes.
Yes,
Which that was really interesting.
and we had too much food, so we ended up giving it to, or opening it up to students to come help and stuff. Anyone done like a scavenger hunt? That would be good. They did a scavenger hunt as part of staff appreciation.
They're working on scavenger hunting for the staff.
That would be fun.
Okay.
I could do fun.
Alan, would this be an ad hoc meeting or ad hoc group
What's that?
to do the staff retreat, or is it all like
Alan just does it all.
just all, okay.
We just tell
You
Alan.
know, that's a great idea. I don't think.
Yeah.
Either the president or vice president has to form an ad hoc committee if it's not formed out of one of the standing committees. And then has to appoint a chair. It becomes a little bit more official. You do it that way. But for now, I just shoot me ideas.
Okay.
On what you think you might want to do, food wise, activity wise, even location wise. Not gonna promise anything, but you know, anything's on the table for that most part.
Yeah, I think
There's a little bit of a budget mostly for food, but not much else.
idea gathering in the beginning is great, and then I do remember last year, I think we asked for a bunch of ideas, and then there was a point where we went, oh, now we gotta do it. So at that point, if there are people that are interested in helping or like running one of the events or something, that would be awesome.
And what's the estimated head count? Usually.
Well, all representatives and members at large are invited, so I think we're at 45 right now in total.
I have taught yoga for many, many years, so I could do a really like basic, let's just move all of the joints in our body and play around with balancing, and people can dress in whatever they, you know, come as you are and do what makes sense, but that's not a big lift.
I teach line dancing.
That sounds great. That's cool. It's fun. Yeah, I'm writing these down.
Yeah. Yeah, if we have a long list of things. This feels like it's going very differently than it did last year. We were like, I don't know, let's just hang out. But if we have a bunch of ideas, maybe we could do like a little vote of which things we would want. Or just do them all.
We do like team building stuff.
I love team building stuff.
Who did we have do that for 1 year?
Devin.
Devin. Yeah, he did a great.
He wasn't
job.
available last year. I asked him.
That's right, that's right. That was a lot of fun because it combined like separating people into groups, but then bringing them back together. And so,
Didn't you have like mixer questions or something on the table this last time?
Yes, for people to do at the table.
Yeah. Like, like conversation topics.
Conversation starters.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the table or during lunch or whatever it was.
And we have prizes for something, right?
That was the raffle. If you brought in a food item, there was a raffle for the prize.
Do we have more prizes?
No.
Maybe I'll ask Stratcom in order to promote the Shield, if they have Shield merch. I'll raffle it off.
Yeah, I think we.
You can also play the science center campus, we can raffle off. Full sign. Oh, yeah. Like they should give up Vivian's history. Yeah, they shouldn't just give away, get rid of those signs, they should like raffle.
yeah,
Could also,
history games like Scavedories or Pictionary, where you get people turning up to do silly things.
like,
Cashiers.
We do like trivia.
Mhm. Do UVM trivia.
Yeah.
UVM Wordle.
I mean, that's a few, yeah, who did that?
is it?
What UVM Wordle, what is that? Somebody makes those up or something.
Still?
Yeah, there's a group of us that are on like an email chain together.
Oh, cool.
And we're working to potentially develop a UVM Wordle.
Wordle, that's the word. Wordle.
Potentially, see, is there anything like the athletics department could run for us, like?
Like the exercise.
Rugby.
Or you go kosher.
Dodgeball, council dodgeball.
Do a mindfulness.
Yeah.
Wait, that would be so fun. Somebody dunk tank.
Who's it you're wanting to put in that seat?
Volunteer. I think if I volunteered myself, my whole department would want to go. That's what you get for telling me I can't buy that lamp. Okay. Any other ideas for the gym? Our next and last piece of the meeting is council members' concerns, comments, ideas, anything you want to bring to the group.
Okay, something.
Yeah.
We haven't had our social committee meeting yet, but we had discussed for our door decorating idea on doing welcome back students.
Oh, yeah.
We only had like 3 or 4 participants in our door decorating this past year, but we thought, well, maybe a lot of people would be doing and keeping in mind to decorate your door, welcome back students.
Yeah. When would you be running it, or?
I don't know, Alan, do we need to vote on that, or can we just?
Should have a conversation in the committee first.
Yeah, well, we have had conversations about it, but that was in last year's committee.
Right.
So we'll have our meeting, what is it? August
2 weeks.
coming up, and then hopefully vote on it then and put the information right out soon afterward. It doesn't allow much time before the students come back, but you know, as long as they're welcome back end of August.
Okay, we'll still be glad they're here in 2 months too.
Yeah, August, September timeframe.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's just ribbon prizes, but. But so, just to kind of put it out there to keep in mind for when look out for the note and hopefully participate or. You're represented.
How many golfers do we have for Friday?
35.
And it's looking like rain. Shouldn't matter, right?
Yeah, it'll change.
The downpour a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Down.
Melissa knows that. Thank you.
Fun.
What a great story. Yeah. There is an event through Vermont Be Well, through Employee Wellness on Thursday called Learn Nutrition for the Heart, 11 to 12. That'll drop into chat. Cool. Refresher. Or like tips for meal planning and yeah, all that good stuff.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? The laptop is dead, so I'm using my phone. This laptop, just ignore it. We have a community crafting, kind of.
Yes.
We have a community crafting event this month, probably, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Through December.
Second Tuesday, it's a week
Next Tuesday.
from today.
Yes.
Yes.
I need help on how to repair a hole in a knitted garment.
Someone who came to the last meeting was a really good clothing repairer and was doing clothing repair at the crafting hour and said that they would be down to help people, so.
This is specific to knitting.
I think that person did knitting, crocheting.
Bring it in just in case.
Yeah.
What's the time? 12 to 1, 1 to 2?
12 to 1.
12 to 1:30, you can kind of drop by anytime there.
Is it Jim?
We bring a bunch of craft options, so there's stuff to do. Knitting, crocheting, pom-pom making, friendship bracelets. Last time we brought pots.
Yeah,
We did do pots last time, and I think we would be down to do it again. Painting pots.
I'll bring my pots.
Okay, we'll have a bunch of pots because Amy brought some last time too. And we have a ton of paint. Because I bought paint last time and then I found the paint that I was missing, so. Lots of paint.
Wednesday walks.
Yeah.
Book club, is our book club to?
There is a book club. I forget the date, when it is, October.
October, I think.
Terry was the garden tour.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, get a hold of Sky if you want to do book club and want a free book. I can't remember what the book is, but
Yeah, there's a book club teams group if you want to join that and get more information. Anyone else got stuff? Things you want us to bring up with leadership? I think we took a lot of notes. All at 1:17. Okay, great. Everyone go get some sunshine in your next 13 minutes. I'll be at 27. It's like,